No, I'm doing a video, but I'll probably just like put a little graphic like Shelby hiccuping. Or burping, I guess is what your sounds are.
No! That's not a burp.
That is a burp.
No.
Maybe I should put a blooper reel in this one too because I'm filming right now.
No!
Alright. Alright folks, welcome back to Ben's Kitchen. I'm going to do another I guess I'm using the stove, so I'll call it a cooking video. We're going to look at the states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas, and what the particles are doing within each of the states of matter so that we can learn how energy is transferred through those states. So, bear with me as we go back to the stove and we look at butter melting, and I'll walk you through the states of matter of how the particles are spreading out as things heat up. Alright, so here we are at the stove. We have my stove, we have a little saucepan, and we have, cut it off here, a little piece of butter. So, first off, what we're going to be looking at is the transition from solid to liquid to gas. So, in the state of solid, we can see that our object is at its most dense point. All the particles are closest together. As we increase the thermal energy, we put thermal energy into the butter, it's going to excite those particles. Those particles are going to get really excited and start to spread out. And that's when we go to a phase transition from solid to liquid. So they're getting excited, they're spreading out, and they're in the liquid phase. Once we get to the liquid phase, we keep inserting thermal energy, and it's going to start spreading out even more until we just have a bunch of very excited particles. This is now when we're entering into the gas stage. So solid to liquid to gas, it's all about inserting energy into the particles and having them spread out and become less dense. So, I'm going to turn on my stove to high so we can get this done. There it comes. Alright, so we have the butter. It is melting away, so it's in its solid state right now. So all those particles very close together. Those particles are nice and close together because it's in its solid state. They don't have much thermal energy in them yet, so they're nice and resting. They're nice and solid and close together. But as we insert thermal energy into the butter, you can see it's starting to melt. This is because the particles are getting more spread out, they're getting more excitement, they're getting more energy inside them, so they're spreading out, which is causing it to become less dense and turn from solid to liquid. So this last transition is going to take a little bit, so we'll have to wait for the butter to melt. Alright, so at this point, our butter has completely melted. All of the particles have spread out from their original state. They become less dense and become more excited. Now you can see bubbles are starting to form. This is because they've spread out even further. It's become less dense. It's turning from liquid into gas. So the particles are moving further apart and they have more thermal energy inside them, so they're spreading out further from each other. And now it's starting to pop and get a little crazy, so I'll probably not keep this on for too much longer because that landed on my hand and it was hot. Okay. Alright, so here's another example. I just want to show you another visual of changing state from solid liquid to gas. So here we have some particles. These particles are in the state of solid right now because they're very close together. You can tell what state something is in because of its density. So density is a measure of how close together the particles are. So these particles, very close together, very low energy, so these are solid. As energy is inserted into this object, which, like when I was cooking the butter, I was inserting thermal energy into the butter from the stovetop, these particles start to vibrate and spread out. So we're spread out a little bit more. These particles are more energetic. They have more thermal energy put into them. So we've moved from a solid state to the medium state, which is liquid. So these are less dense than a solid, but they're still kind of together, but with medium amounts of energy and medium amounts of density. So we keep inserting thermal energy into the object. We keep it on the stove. these are going to get more and more excited, and they're going to spread out even more until we have disorganization, and they're just kind of floating around everywhere, and they're very excited, and they're very spread out. So now we've moved from liquid to gas. The density is the lowest it's going to be, and the energy it has is the highest it's going to be. It has low density, high energy. These particles have moved out as far as they're going to go, and they've moved from liquid to gas. So, looking back at it, bring these particles close together. Let's say we stuck it back in the fridge. So, low energy, high density. This is a solid. Low energy, high density. Medium energy, medium density. This is a liquid. We've inserted thermal energy and we've heated up this object until it melts into a liquid. Medium energy, medium density. We keep inserting energy. And we have a gas. High energy, low density. High energy, low density. That is a gas. So we went from solid to liquid to gas. I hope this helps. All right. Good luck on the homework tonight, and I will talk to you tomorrow.